What 80's movies hold up and are still worth watching 30 to 40 years later? Amadeus, Predator, The Terminator, Back to the Future, The Thing, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Burbs. The Thing is my favorite horror movie of all time. It's so well done, and they don't do effects like that today really. The score is amazing too. Clue is spectacular. Very funny, very fast paced, and I love the multiple endings. Edit to say this has exploded, and if you like Clue, do yourself a favor and try the similar Murder by Death. Who are you? I'm the butler, sir. What do you do? I buttle, sir. Stand By Me. I think this has to be my favorite movie of all time. It's also where I got my username from. 80's movies. 30-40 years later. How to feel old just reading the title. I never felt old until they started playing Motley Crue on the oldies radio station. Princess Bride, Et, Beverly Hills Cop, Say Anything, Beetlejuice, Karate Kid. I'm not going to say it quote unquote holds up, but I think Real Genius is still funny and is mostly forgotten now. Can you hammer a 6-inch spike through a board with your penis? Not right now. A girl's gotta have her standards. Man, I love that movie. I will need to watch as soon as possible. Die Hard. Die Hard was such a trip when it came out. Looking back, it may seem like it's just a stereotypical action movie that was done exactly right. But at the time it subtly redefined action movies, action heroes and movie villains all at once. Great article for context. Independent fun fact. Bruce Willis only ended up getting the part after Arnold Schwarzenegger, Richard Gere, Clint Eastwood, Burt Reynolds, Sylvester Stallone, Harrison Ford, Don Johnson, Nick Nolte, Mel Gibson, Richard Dean Anderson and Frank Sinatra turned it down. Edit. To clarify, Frank Sinatra starred in the 1968 adaptation of the first Roderick Thorpe novel, The Detective. When the movie became a success, Sinatra himself encouraged Thorpe to write a sequel and got an option for first pick to play the lead. However, the second novel didn't come out until 1979 and the tone had changed from a detective story to a pretty dark action thriller featuring the detective close to retirement getting involved in a terrorist plot. In the book, his daughter, not his wife, is an executive at a corrupt oil company who is held hostage by terrorists wanting to expose the corruption. The book was not a success and Sinatra passed on the role. The studio paused development for several years and then rewrote the story as a Commando sequel for Schwarzenegger. When he also passed on it, the script got offered to practically every single action or cop movie star in Hollywood until they ran out of options. Then they looked at who else might star, and because Willis was an extremely popular TV star, they offered him the part. Willis himself had to turn down the role since he was busy filming Moonlighting. However, when Sybil Shepherd got pregnant, he had the chance to take the role. First Blood. If you divorce this film from the needless and stupid sequels and watch it as a standalone film beholden to nothing that comes afterward, it's one of the greatest character studies ever put to film and a classic exploration of PTSD, patriotism and the way Vietnam veterans were treated in the years following the war. Great cast, great script, great setting, great direction. What a perfect example of a film that is often overlooked because of its association with several terrible sequels that do nothing but chisel over the source material, thus nearly rendering that very source almost irrelevant. First Blood should never had any sequels to it. With that, you have to at least enjoy the action movie genre was super strong in the 80's, and they had a great character already created from First Blood. So sequels were done, and I did enjoy them for what they were, as pure action nonsense. At least they didn't go RoboCop 3 with the Rambo character. Make airplane motion with hand. Airplane. 1980. One of the funniest movies ever made. Captain, how soon can you land? I can't tell. You can tell me. I'm a doctor. No. I mean, I'm just not sure. Well, can't you take a guess? Well, not for another 2 hours. You can't take a guess for another 2 hours? Back to the Future. The script is perfect. It's like a goddamn Swiss watch. Everything matters and pays off. Big Trouble in Little China. This one has come up a lot. I haven't seen it. It always looked a little cheesy to me. What do you like about it? The Thing is not only the greatest horror movie ever made, I'm hard pressed to name a movie I'd rank higher. John Carpenter in the 80s was on fire. 1988 They Live, 1986 Big Trouble in Little China, 1984 Starman, 1982 The Thing, 1981 Escape from New York. Coming to America and Lean on Me. Taste the Soup. Original Indiana Jones trilogy are God tier. 80's is a great movie. I went back and watched it after I saw the musical, and it's still really good fun. Would recommend. Cool. This one has come up a couple times. I know nothing about it at all, so I will have to look into it, but it must be good. The Goonies. Can I state, for the record, how cool it is that the same guy who played Mickey from the Goonies also played Sam in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Sean Astin has had an interesting acting career. The Terminator. T2 was the best. Short Circuit 1 and 2. Spaceballs. Die Hard. Dead Poets Society. Full Metal Jacket. The Money Pit. Scarface. Roadhouse. Twins. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Haha Johnny 5 is Alive. Witches. I Don't See Cheese. Is Freaking Laugh. Priceless. Labyrinth. Never-Ending Story and Willow. Puppets. CGI. You Forgot Dark Crystal. Highlander. There Should Been Only One. Ricky Bobby. Wow. I feel like I'm Highlander. Jane Jarrett. Jane Chuckles. Confused. What is the Highlander? Ricky Bobby. It's a movie. It won the Academy Award. Jane Jarrett. Oh for what? Ricky Bobby. Best movie ever made. Blade Runner. For the story and the perfect special effects. The music and Rutger Hauer do it for me. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Star Wars trilogy. Really surprised I had to go down this far to see this. I know it's basic, but I mean it's Star Wars. The Lost Boys Adventures in Babysitting Can't Buy Me Love. I enjoy vampire movies, so I've seen Lost Boys and I loved it. I haven't seen the others, but I will look into them for sure. The Shining. Scared the duck out of me because I saw it when I was 8, but it's still such a great horror movie. I watched it for the first time this past October, and even though I already knew everything that was going to happen, I was on the edge of my seat. It's also the best kind of horror movie for me, where it doesn't scare me too badly but still gives me the chills. I love it. Bladder Runner Alien. Alien was 79, but that's probably close enough to the 80's. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Breakfast Club really dated for me and was unwatchable, but Ferris is still classic. Breakfast Club is one of my favorite films, still holds up for me. I can quote it word for word and usually put it on as background noise while cleaning my house. Ferris Bueller is indeed a classic. I can also quote 90% of it. Love my 80's teenage movies since I grew up with them. Predator. No other movie compares to Predator in terms of muscle mass. Why is Escape from New York not here yet? In fact, John Carpenter in general, They Live, and The Thing are also great options. Let's not forget Big Trouble in Little China. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Well, obviously, you're ducked. I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of ducking nowhere with ducking keys to a ducking car that isn't ducking there. And I really don't care to ducking walk down a ducking highway and across a ducking runway to get back here to have you smile in my ducking face. I want a ducking car. Right. Ducking now. One of Steve Martin's greatest scenes in my humble opinion. Great film. John Candy is, as always, on top form. Raising Arizona. Do these balloons blow up into funny shapes? No, unless round is funny. Das Boot Tootsie Batman No Way Out Dead Poets Society When Harry Met Sally Big A Christmas Story Back to the Future Aging Bull. I will still cry at Dead Poets Society. Batman. I always think of this town needs an enema. Princess Bride 100% edit. Thanks for the award, mate. The Bill and Ted movies. Batman with Jack Nicholson playing the best Joker. Alien series. The original Star Wars trilogy. I wish I could think of more. When I was a kid in the early zeros, I always would watch one 80's or 90's movie a day. Also, I would say Back to the Future, but those movies just piss me off post 2015. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is awesome. I love that movie. Trading places. Came here for this. So many things in this movie that would never get a par now. Looking good, Louis. Feeling good, Billy Ray. Christmas Vacation. This is my favorite Christmas movie, has replaced Christmas Story. The Running Man is one of my favorites. It clearly has the 80s look though, so I'm not sure how well it holds up, but it's fun to watch. Deleted. Definitely Princess Bride. When Harry Met Sally. It still is one of my favorites. Such a great movie. I'll have watched having. Mel Brooks' entire career: Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, History of the World, The Producers, Spaceballs, Men in Tights, 90's. You Look Like the Piss Boy. Labyrinth. Caddyshack. Deleted. Footloose, Dirty Dancing, Annie, Roadhouse, The Outsiders, Back to the Future, Breakfast Club, Neverending Story, Stand By Me, Willow, Ferris Bueller. I could be typing all day. The 80s was an amazing decade. Some of the best movies, music, shows ever made. P.S. How the hell could I leave off Die Hard? Dirty Dancing. Thank you. At last. Stand By Me. Ghostbusters. Why did I have to scroll so far down to find the first mention of this? Ghostbusters is one of the best comedies ever filmed. Aliens. Probably the best sci-fi action movie of all time. So many people have recommended it. I've never seen it, but I think I have to now. The Great Outdoors. I love this movie so much. I've probably seen it at least 66 times. Tremors. Coming to America will always be a click in my eyes. The Thing. SKO from New York. The Princess Bride. The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen. The Shining. Back to the Future. Akira. Blade Runner. Little Shop of Horrors Brazil. The Fly. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Amadeus. Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Evil Dead 2. The Toxic Avenger. Scanners. Videodrome. Tootsie. Time Bandits. Reanimator. Ran. Who Killed Roger Rabbit. The Road Warrior. Return of the Dead. Waxwork. TerraVision. From Beyond. That's all I can think of right now. The last few are really, if you're a fan of campy horror stuff, but the others are all super solid. I haven't read the commentary, so there's bound to be a lot of repeats here. Edit. Forgot about The Blob, Texas Chainsaw 2, and Day of the Dead. Luckily, Roger Rabbit was only framed, not killed. Altered States. Scientist studies LSD and isolation tanks. Bad combination. Big Trouble in Little China. There's some big trouble in Chinatown. Buckaroo Banzai. Just watch it. Then watch it again. 3 more times and you'll get half the jokes. Repo Man. I hate normal people. Normal people spend their whole lives trying to avoid tense situations. Repo Man spends his whole life putting himself into tense situations. Apostrophe. Oh boy, don't forget about Robocop. The Governor's Batman Ghostbusters. Das Boot, Return of the GD Raider of the Lost Ark, Beverly Hills Cop. A Fish Called Wanda. Just watched this morning and it's still incredibly funny. Top Gun is still amazing in my opinion. I had to scroll down way too far for this. Top Gun has some of the best flying scenes in any movie, and I can't wait for them to fly the F-18s in the next one. My list. Edit. Added some honorable mentioned at the bottom and The World According to Garp for 1982. R.I.P. Robin Williams 1980 Airplane The Big Red One Star Wars. Episode V. The Empire Strikes Back The Shining 1981 Raiders of the Lost Ark The Road Warrior An American Werewolf in London 1982. E.T. The Extraterrestrial Blade Runner Tootsie Diner Poltergeist The World According to Garp 1983 The Right Stuff A Christmas Story Star Wars. Episode 6. Return of the GD Risky Business 1984 Good Year for Movies Amadeus The Killing Fields This is Spinal Tap The Terminator Once Upon a Time in America Ghostbusters A Nightmare on Elm Street Beverly Hills Cop The Karate Kid Purple Rain Romancing the Stone 1985 Back to the Future Witness 1986. Platoon, Aliens, The Fly, Stand By Me, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 1987, The Princess Bride, Empire of the Sun, Fatal Attraction, The Untouchables, Full Metal Jacket, Raising Arizona, Robocop, Wall Street, Lethal Weapon, Predator, Dirty Dancing, 1988, Die Hard, Bull Durham, Rain Man, A Fish Called Wanda, The Naked Gun, Midnight Run, 1989. Do the Right Thing, When Harry Met Sally, Field of Dreams, Born on the 4th of July, Glory Driving Miss Daisy, Say Anything, Batman, Dead Poets Society, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Notables: these could qualify, but might not translate as well today. Top Gun. Anyone remember the Cold War being over? The Lost Boys. Campy acting. Chariots of Fire. Very on the fence about this one. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? With Pixar, not sure the cartoonish nature would hold up. The Elephant Man. Probably should have this one up there. Gandy, Ordinary People, Terms of Endearment, The Color Purple, Caddyshack. Very quotable. Planes, Trains and Automobiles, Runaway Train. Sleeper movie right here. Good watch. Total Recall. The Blues Brothers. I Hate Illinois Nazis. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Why is this so far down? Commando. It hasn't dated, because it was dumb as duck to begin with. In a good way. Real Genius with Van Kilmer music theme. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, by Tears by Fears. Time Bandits, 1981 film. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Red Dawn. Wolverines. The ending was so brutal. The Breakfast Club. Fantastic movie. M14 and I loved it. And Stand By Me. I grew up on SBM and I've been growing on TBC for about 2 to 3 years now. The Breakfast Club. Duh. Hey, how come Andrew gets to get up? If he gets up, we'll all get up. It'll be anarchy. Never Ending Story. The Goonies. Back to the Future. The whole trilogy. Clue. With Mel and I, this is Spinal Tap, Evil Dead 2. Stand By Me. No matter what generation it is, middle schoolers will always talk like those 4 kids. Immo, Monty Python's Life of Brian deserves a spot in this thread. The move is still one of the best comedies out there, and never fails to brighten up my day. Big. Tim Burton's Batman is pretty good. Ed Wager, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, is also pretty good. Would you believe The Last Starfighter? The effects are actually really good for the time. The B-plot holds actual laughs. The whole movie is better acted than it deserves. And I still want to get abducted to help stop the Kyodan Armada at 40 years old. Heathers is pretty good. Platoon, notwithstanding it is dangerous mythologizing. Mad Maximum, the first one. What is your damage, Heather? Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future, Karate Kid, E.T. Big Top Gun, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Terminator. The Back to the Future trilogy, Robocop, Terminator, Kindergarten Cop. 1990 still counts as 80's. Karate Kid, Crocodile Dundee, that's my list. Edit, Spaceballs. Oh my, you watched until the end? That's fucking awesome, dude. Thanks for watching.